Now, the only question is, when is it going to be settled? And it could be very soon, but when is it going to be?
Tonight at 6, as the war in Ukraine rages on, a possible answer.
President Donald Trump says he will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska next week. Well, good evening. We go straight to team coverage for this developing story tonight. Reporters Rebecca Palsha and Will Courtney standing by with the latest on this.
We go first to Will, who tells us what we know so far about the president's scheduled trip to Alaska. Will.
John, Augusta, right now it's still uncertain where in Alaska the presidents of both the United States and Russia will meet. Although multiple state leaders, including the governor, think it may be J-Bear. The president announced through Truth Social the meeting in Alaska will take place next Friday. And this is what the president said before his post earlier today on a shot at negotiations between Ukraine, President Zelensky, and Putin since Russia invaded in 2022.
I think my instinct really tells me that we have a shot at it, okay? And you'll find that out later on, and maybe even today, but we have a shot at it. Look, it's got to be solved.
And I also spoke with the governor, Mike Dunleavy, who told me negotiations in Alaska geographically make sense, given how close the state is to Russia.
You know, and the hope is that this leads to a peace in some form or fashion. Do I think there'll be a peace announced at this conference? That's tough to say. I would tend to doubt it, but it could be the beginnings of and be the springboard for.
When he spoke with me, the governor stopped short of confirming negotiations would take place at J-Bear, only saying it would make sense. I also asked him whether he would be a part of those negotiations and said, quote, I expect to be able to share more information with the public here as the week unfolds. I've reached out to J-Bear for confirmation today, and they told me to reach out to the White House, who has not responded to attempts for comment. Will Courtney, Alaska's news source.
Well, thanks so much. And we go now to Rebecca Palsha, who has been hearing from members of the congressional delegation and others today.
Rebecca, you sat down with Senator Sullivan this evening. He has been endorsed by Trump, says this announcement is a surprise to him as well.
Well, it absolutely was a surprise. He says he's heard talks about President Trump coming to Alaska, but he found out today's news along with the rest of us. The White House Office of Historian Data shows that Putin has never visited Alaska before. Most recently, Trump was here in 2022 for a campaign event. Senator Sullivan certainly is excited, and of course, the goal of this meeting between Trump and Putin is peace between Russia and Ukraine. So my first question is, does Sullivan think that can happen?
I think Putin came to the table because he understands strength and power.
But are you confident it could lead to a deal, a peace deal?
We'll see. Like I said, I mean, you know, right now their track record is strong. But I think with regard to so many things as it relates to Russia, it's not words that matter to Putin, it's strength and power.
Now, along with Governor Mike Dunleavy, also reacting today are Senator Lisa Murkowski and freshman Congressman Nick Begich. Murkowski calling the war in Ukraine catastrophic and writing on her social media accounts that, quote, this is another opportunity for the Arctic to serve as a venue that brings together world leaders to forge meaningful agreements. While I remain deeply wary of Putin and his regime, I hope these discussions lead to genuine progress and help end the war on equitable terms. Now, a spokesperson for Congressman Nick Begich saying in a prepared statement that, quote, it's encouraging that the dialogue will be occurring at the highest levels here in Alaska, where Russia and America share a historic relationship and geographic proximity. My prayer, the spokesperson said, is that the conversations are productive and result in meaningful progress toward reconciliation. And we'll certainly be tracking all of this, and we'll bring you the latest as we learn more about what's coming out next week. And on our website is an extended podcast with Sullivan, as well as an interview with Governor Dunleavy. John, Augusta.
All right, Rebecca Palsha, thank you very much. As Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Alaska visit is wrapping up. It's focused heavily on rural health care, including that Fairbanks stop this week.
Kennedy appeared with Senators Murkowski and Sullivan at the Chief Andrew Isaac Health Center as they spoke with Alaska Native leaders about health care in the villages. About 85 people protested outside. Federal leadership discussed government programs, a rural health care fund, and the importance of traditional subsistence foods.
It's absolutely critical that we return these traditional subsistence foods from hunting, from fishing, from trapping, and we give them access to those foods.
He seems totally on board with working with us, trying to do what we can in those areas to try to get back to our traditional foods so that they're healthier. And it's just a matter of working with him and the senators going forward.
Well, the protesters took issue with Kennedy's vaccine policies and the Trump administration's budget cuts. The secretary said in Anchorage earlier this week, a new COVID vaccine is being developed. That part of the story on our website and our mobile app.
And tonight, we hear from the friends and family of 78-year-old John Skip Dove, who was found dead in his Soldotna home this week. A woman who was reportedly renting a room from him was arrested in connection with his death. Our investigative team's Johnson Kuhn tells us that Dove was described by those who knew him best as someone truly loved by everyone who ever met him.
Crushed. I'm heartbroken, and I can't believe that he's gone.
A family in mourning, trying to come to terms with such a tragic and unexpected loss.
The way that he's left this world is a complete and utter shock to me.
Emily Higginson describes her Uncle Johnny as a teddy bear despite his rough exterior. She says she'll always cherish the tender side he'd share with her in phone calls, a side she says not everyone was privileged to.
He was entering into a stage of his life where he truly was happy.
Emily's father and Skip's brother, Peter Dove, shared stories of his older brother's time in the Navy as well as the time he served in the Vietnam War. While he's deeply missed by family, Peter says there are countless friends all around the world who mourn his loss as well.
I've met extremely few truly charismatic people in my life. He's one of them. He has this human magnetism about him. He just can attract a crowd. They like being around him. It's very difficult to explain. It's a gift of God.
A close friend of Skip's recalled becoming instant friends the first time they met in Soldotna in the late 70s. Described as a man with many layers, his friend saying he'll miss most the late-night cribbage games, motorcycle rides, and trips to Arizona.
He didn't know a stranger. He had all the classic characteristics you need to be like an effective human, but on multiple levels, right? Because he could relate to anyone, he could talk to anyone, never met a stranger.
Again, that was our investigative team's Johnson Kuhn. Skip is survived by his two children, Jonna and James. His wife, Beverly, passed in March of 2023, we're told. Peter says they hope to hold a memorial in Soldotna soon.
Well, the U.S. Coast Guard says it's responding to what it calls increased Chinese research vessel activity in the Arctic. A statement from the agency today says USCG crews responded to two different Chinese research vessels in the region over the past few days in the Bering and Chukchi Seas. The Coast Guard also says it is monitoring a total of 5 similar vessels total in or near the Arctic as we speak. The Coast Guard writing in part, quote, "The presence of these vessels is consistent with a 3-year trend of increased activity from Chinese research vessels operating in the U.S. Arctic. The Coast Guard Arctic District works in conjunction with international partners, U.S. Northern Command and Alaskan Command to constantly monitor the activity of foreign vessels operating near U.S. sovereign waters and the extended outer continental shelf." The Coast Guard says no one was available for an interview today. The agency will commission the Coast Guard cutter Storis. It's the newest icebreaker in its fleet. There'll be a ceremony in Juneau on Sunday.
Turning now to a bit of a rainy forecast.
Oh, yeah. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us with what we need to know if we want to dodge that rain this weekend.
There will be chances to dodge it. We'll see some breaks in between those showers, which will still be in the area. We are still seeing very wet conditions down for the coastal areas all the way into southeast. You can see Stockton and Ketchikan at 58. Clouds extending from Palmer and Anchorage all the way to Fairbanks. Temperatures sitting in the mid-60s this afternoon, which is actually pretty close to normal for this time of year. Showers lingering across South Central with the heaviest rain centered around Prince William Sound. As you move into Anchorage, Kenai, Palmer, up into the valley, it'll just be lighter isolated showers that we'll see. So still getting some sun breaks in between. We do, however, have a larger storm sitting out in the northern Pacific. That is going to bring heavy rain to southeast starting overnight tonight and continuing for most of the weekend. Now, if you're hoping to get out and about, perhaps do some blueberry picking or head to Girdwood, we will see those spotty showers. So grab the rain jacket here around South Central. Wetter conditions will be from Girdwood Broadwood south and into Whittier and Seward. But we'll hold on to those normal temperatures, and we'll see some sun breaks all across South Central both Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah, it's a little wet out there, but otherwise seeing mild conditions all the way through the weekend.
All right, Melissa, thanks so much. And it might be a bit rainy, but the Blueberry Festival is back, and we're getting a preview. Kicking off our weekend ahead is the famously fun Blueberry Festival at Aliaska.
Oh, Bailey Braun, she's live out in Grovewood right now to tell us more about how you can get in on that two-day fun tradition. Bailey.
Yeah, we're here live at Aliaska Resort right now. We're actually going to talk to some vendors about what we can expect to see this weekend and just lots of fun. So we'll go talk to a vendor right now. Hi. Hi. This is Aubrey Day, and she is a vendor here for this weekend. So, Aubrey, what exactly can we look forward to this weekend?
Well, I'm looking forward to the vendors that are here, the food vendors, all the market vendors, as well as the environment and the people that show up. That's what I look forward to about this.
And what are you vending here for this weekend?
I make Whipped Telebalm moisturizer, which can be used all over the body, face, hands, legs. I've used it on sunburn, just is personal preference on which one you use.
Okay, awesome. And is this your first time vending here at Blueberry Fest?
Yes, this is my first time. I have come and attended a Blueberry Festival, but I have not been a vendor.
Gotcha, okay. And what is, let's see here, what do you think is going to set this festival apart from other festivals?
I believe the mountain scenery. It's geared around blueberries, so it's a themed festival, which brings a lot of people because it's a fun, family-friendly event. We were just picking blueberries a couple days ago down the road. So just the environment, the mountains, the scenery, the people that show up and want to be here, I look forward to all of that.
And I see your family is with you. Are they going to be helping you this weekend?
They will be helping me. It might be like one at a time. Maybe they'll be running around doing activities and fun stuff. Rain or shine, they will show up.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's going to be a good weekend, so have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and, you know, there's going to be over 70 vendors here this weekend, so make sure you come and enjoy the festivities and just, you know, get out there.
Just get out there.
Get out there, Bailey. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, and again, that Aliaska Blueberry Festival, it's tomorrow and Sunday, August 9th and 10th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Good stuff. And if you are headed out, Melissa, you're thinking to pack a rain jacket.
Yeah, rain jacket will probably be useful over the weekend. I'll break down the details on when and where you should expect that rain. But first, take a look at your daylight hours. It's slowly slipping away, but that sunset's still well after 10 p.m. in Anchorage, Fairbanks, just before 9 in Juneau, and still after 11 in Bethel.